Hey, Tom.
Kim, I'm okay.
Yeah. Good.
Good.
I was so sad to hear about Carlo.
Yeah, he got real sick right at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah. But, you know, we went out to breakfast weeks ago. He was doing fine. Not fine, but, you know, he was okay.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was able to come and drive himself and what have you.
Mhm.
But plus we had the week before that, or 2 weeks before that, we had his 90th birthday party. 90.
Yeah. Virginia's gotta be devastated.
I saw that. Thank you.
Do what? Like, 2 of the kids are here.
Okay,
Michelle, the daughter,
Hey, Jeff, how are you?
and one of the sons is in the, Michelle lives right in town, but the rest of them are around here somewhere.
okay,
So they're gonna have to figure out, she's living over in, that Charlotte Square development.
hmm,
And I don't know if she's gonna want to stay there or not. I don't know.
yeah. Mm.
She's a pretty tough cookie though. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
nobody's.
So Cabote's got agenda review today.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have that? Is that gonna be a problem for you too?
No, because mine is on Thursdays.
Oh,
But if we change this meeting to Thursday, yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how often he's gonna be able to make it.
we're gonna have to figure out a way around this somehow. Problem is we keep running into stuff at the board too,
Yeah.
so,
Mm,
but we'll work on it.
yeah.
We'll work on it. We'll figure it out, right, Kim?
Hmm?
We being you.
I accept.
There you go, yeah, there you go.
Hope you brought your signing pen, Tom. We've got a lot of documents over here.
Yeah,
I never got your email.
oh, so you never sent them again. Well, I don't know why you didn't get it, because it did look like it worked.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, it showed the sign signature and
Yeah,
showed it being sent, so I don't know what happened.
yeah, never got it. But I got hard.
Well, then let's do some of that.
Okay.
It's in your folder on my CB. Think camera.
Okay, here's how
Hi,
you doing?
Is it how you doing?
See you.
Good to see you. Huh? Oh, here it's kind of been this.
Well, hello.
How you doing, Mayor?
Being uncharacteristically quiet over there.
Observing.
All right.
Hola.
See if you could turn your mice.
I guess.
Take the pins. Take the card.
Hey, Rolly,
How you be?
good? How about yourself?
I choose to be good. I choose to be good.
Are we also found presenting or show the test fit that have the email?
Yes. No, I don't know if it's the test fit. What are we presenting today for Bradis?
Well, you're gonna do the program
Program
verification.
verification.
But
that's
there's a separate document that, an email later this afternoon is here.
Didn't see it, so I don't know. Well, we'll ask him when he comes. What do you want me, how do I not reduce this to tears here?
That's a, it's
I don't wanna.
is it replacing something? That one?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so, but.
I don't. It's not a standard. This is the second amendment that was already approved, just using this. These two are the Chase construction agreements that they had some issues with the wording about culpability, and certain percentage over. Finally got that straight, so these two just need your signature.
There he is. Fresh from Albany,
Fresh from Albany.
defending our rights.
And when you spend 4 hours in the car with the air conditioning, I open the door up and I'm like, whoa, it's hot
Yeah,
outside.
it is, it's sticky.
This is an amendment, you signed it last. This back and forth, and Ed ended up signing it. This last one is the one that's in the board packet, signature under your. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we'll have to try that thing again, because it did work, it did look like it worked, the second system you
Oh,
used,
good, yeah.
not the first system, I
like
never
that.
got that right, but the second system, great.
But I
And
wonder
I've
why
used
they-
it with other people too, so it's not,
Yeah, someone talked to
I
you about
wonder
that.
why I never got.
who knows where it
Yeah,
comes.
right, that right there.
Apparently. There's the fee and all that agreed
Believe it or
upon.
not. Isn't Abner the one that
Not that it
Kimberly?
could ever happen, Kim, but
Abner, the brute.
just in case we need some kind of backup to the speaker, to the, do we have a microphone we could use?
They have to spec that because that has to be figured into this. So that's the part two that they're gonna be coming back this week to do.
So we're on our own today, huh?
With but we have this working.
Okay,
It's just the handheld ones have to be configured. But everybody can hear everything right now.
okay. No, Kim Jones, that getting how much time has gone by, and how much of the summer's gone by. Norm must be getting towards the bottom of that list you get.
Yeah, not quite.
Not quite, huh?
But I'm gonna put more pressure on them now.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Hello, hello. Good, how are you?
Sorry. We can do that.
Oh, yeah. It's clean.
Oh, yeah, it does, yeah. Well, towards the end, yeah, but not, you know, I mean, we went out to breakfast like we do often. Less than a month ago.
Oh, really?
He was functioning.
Yeah.
He wasn't feeling great.
Yeah.
But he's 90 years old, you know, so, yeah. But, so I don't know. Do know what it was, but why it came over. He is a real good guy.
I think.
Yeah. He and I, worked, well, in Duffy, he was in Duffy.
That's right.
So he and I worked together for, you know, for 8 years at the City Hall. But I'm gonna miss him,
Yeah.
but, so be it.
Started to
You know,
buddy Norm Jones.
but,
Started to our buddy.
oh, were you?
Next door neighbor. City.
Yeah, yeah.
Juice.
Good.
Hello, Dr. Ross.
Hello, how are you?
Can actually send them.
So,
You might talk to me as that.
I don't want to talk to you. Why would I want to talk to you?
I didn't think so.
Of all the people I can think of, Rolling.
Hi, nice to meet you as well. Okay.
What you want?
Hey, man, how are you? You look so tan.
Little vacation.
I can tell. And not just at home by the pool,
No, I was
right?
talking to your husband earlier today. Are you jumping in the pool and staying?
Yeah. These days.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Hi, I'm Tom Richards.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Well,
Hey, Professor.
nice to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. What's up, Jim?
I'm on a day, my friend, you know, things are going great. How about with you? Okay.
Too hot for me.
It's like being home.
Yeah, well, that's why I brought it up.
At least you have a lake and beach, you know?
Yeah.
Syracuse, we don't have that, you know?
You said home. I thought you were talking about Puerto Rico.
No.
I'm like, you know, when you said at least you got a beach, I'm like, these aren't beaches.
That's what they call it. When I came in, they said, let's go to the beach. I'm like, holy July. I said,
Yeah,
this
my
is-
wife was from Alabama. She's from Mobile, so she grew up on the Gulf of Mexico.
Young man, you in the interview for some position.
She was like, it's not a beach.
Yeah, I said, this is a lake. I said, you people have issues. This is not a beach. And it was July. It's like 65 degrees. I'm like, and then you come out smelling like a fish. I'm like, yeah. Syracuse has one that's outside of Syracuse, has the Green Lakes. And it looks like, you know,
That's what my wife, yeah, she said,
probably like, you know,
it looks like
you
with
know,
the aqua and,
Yeah.
yeah, and the greens and all
Yeah,
that. Have you been?
I've been there.
Was it nice?
It is nice, it's small, but it's not something like, you know. I'm from Puerto Rico and people, you know, wave to come in and out.
I understand you know some of my colleagues.
I was just looking at your tag there and I was gonna say something to you about, you know, my friend Kate Reed.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
she is one of the
high energy people I've ever met.
She is. We used to call her, the friendly small bulldog, or pit bull, not bulldog. Because she, is so unassuming.
Yes.
But then she goes right in.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good people.
Nice to meet you.
I'm doing well.
Nice.
So I just, thank you.
Where is her?
You
say you?
Yeah, Dr. Chilson.
I'm the director.
Okay, nice to meet
I
you.
work for you.
Okay, nice to meet you. I'm pretty sure we'll be in communication often. I just hired a CFO. I'm pretty sure.
What's going on? How's your summer
Get to know you a lot better.
Okay.
Yes.
Looking
So,
I was with Dr. Chilson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. She and I go way back to Buffalo. Yeah, yeah.
Good person.
Yeah, she is. She is.
Last week.
Okay. Yeah, is she doing well down there? Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry?
Dr. Chilson,
That's Green Bay. How's that smell? It's really good.
Buffalo.
I need to figure out what I'm going to do.
I always try to out of town about it's gonna do something.
Yeah, typically when I travel out of the country,
Sean, can you hear us?
chance to go to.
I can.
Beautiful.
That's spring break. Very nice. I don't like it. It's like 15 hours.
Oh, his last name is.
It's just South Korea.
Last name.
15 hours? It was long. It was a direct flight.
And then it's Europe. That's for me. I should have said that word.
Well, it's good then. You did a job on that band there, Kim.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised.
She didn't think she could come. So I was
Yeah.
there for 10 days by myself.
That's because the
It was
the school board operation dragged the credit along,
Yeah.
She got her
Oh,
take
Lord.
the money for the ticket back.
Let's hope- Wait, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, let's hope that, man. You better believe it.
They've got a lot of money.
We won't be doing any of this.
Yeah,
But Brandon,
no, but we got a really good rate.
you certainly did.
But you separately sent.
My 50th birthday. So COVID hit.
And actually, we
they weren't
received
flying
a
anywhere.
considerable
I ended up getting my
premium,
money
so the
back.
net interest cost was like
But it was
2.64.
disappointing. 'Cause
Yeah.
I
Look, yeah, it's 264. I got a
Yeah,
sheet here.
yeah,
EG my 50.
Mm.
So I was gonna go on my 50th birthday.
yeah.
There's always 51, 52, 53, so.
Yeah, well. My wife
Good, they were all right, dead on
took
too.
a big
Yeah.
trip somewhere.
I was glad to
This
see
next
that
year.
Wells Fargo won it
And
though.
start saving my money.
Yeah.
Okay, how we doing here?
Thank you.
So 2 minutes, I guess.
Tim, I heard that, Wells Fargo won your bid as well.
Absolutely.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Kojo called and congratulated. Yeah,
It's a great rate.
yeah, that was a wonderful rate. But we're good credit risk. I didn't expect anything less.
Kevin, when we do the presentation on Edison, I think we should start, you should start by sort of reminding everybody of what we're doing here and why, what phase this is. So that people I like just reflecting. They're refreshed about what the
If you
process
guys
is.
need more, let me know.
This being the first of. It's not that they don't, but it's potential. Possible that they may have forgotten. Kim, who do we have up there? I can't see it from here. You?
Right now, it's just Sean. So
Sean?
Jesse is the only one that's missing that may show up.
Yeah, okay. We'll give it 4 o'clock, so we'll start. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's 4 o'clock. We have a quorum for the board meeting. So I'll call it to order and start on our agenda. First item, not on our agenda, but to introduce Dr. Watson, who joins us for the first time. He's our new superintendent of schools. Great to have you. We hope you can come whenever you can.
Yes,
And participate in the process. It's good to have you here.
thank you very much.
Okay, item number 1, the minutes of the previous meeting of July 15th, which were in the packet that was circulated among you. Any comments or questions on them? Seeing or hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Further comments or questions? Hearing or seeing none, it will stand approved as submitted. Pay requisition, Kim Jones.
Yep. So for August, we have proposed payments to Anshin totaling $21,016. Bond Shonik and King totaling $3,507.50. Payment to Buffalo Construction Consultants totaling $12,964.48. Payment to Chantrul Jensen Stark Architects totaling $96,814.40. Payment to Labella Associates totaling $209,832.78. Payment to Chase totaling $77,387.12. Payment to Savin Engineers totaling $306,910.38. Payment to Pike totaling $18,488.52. And lastly, a payment to Watts Architecture and Engineering totaling $156,836.65. Total payments of $903,757.83. Any questions?
Comments or questions? We'll take that as submitted by the committee. Is there a second?
Second.
Been seconded. Any further comments or questions? Just something we may want to mention at this point, because it's not on the agenda, I don't think otherwise, but that they did the band financing.
Yep.
We're now shifting from the money that's been borrowed from the superintendent.
I'm like, I wish I.
We're hard up a little bit, but we're a little better than that. But anyway, from the district, and of course, the first payment out of the band will be to return the money that we borrowed.
So we've done that already.
Mhm.
And, you know, the rest of the money is sitting in an account comfortably. So we'll continue to do the disbursements as we've done in the past. So I think right now, all the money is sitting in you guys have a capital account, RJSCB capital account. And so when, we'll keep the process similar to what you guys are currently doing with the district right now. As disbursements are needed, we'll disperse the funds.
Kim, can we connect afterward? and talk about
Absolutely.
the final number?
Yep.
So we're funded, at least for the foreseeable future, while we get the rest of the work in place to do the permanent funding. The band was quite successful financially too. The interest rate that was bid was 4%, but with the premium that's been paid, we're down to an actual net interest rate of 2.64%, which is very good.
And Wells Fargo was the successful bidder.
So it was a successful financing, and that'll help because all the money we can save doing this is money we can put into the project.
And the plan is for us, when we conduct the February band sale, to go out for an additional 25 million.
Right. we had an authorization for the full amount, but we were doing it in 2 steps here because we don't want to pile up the money and have to pay interest on it. Okay. I guess we didn't vote actually, did we? But we did, okay. We're all set. Good, thank you. That gets us to Edison Tech. Before we start, Pepin, maybe you can just refresh everybody's recollection with respect to where we are in the process here and what part of the process we're reporting on right now for Edison.
Yes.
You know, one thing that let's check on, I should have checked earlier. This is our new mode here. It's pretty much the old mode made smaller, but which is good because we can pay less for it. But as a result, there's some devices in the ceiling that pick up the conversation here. And hopefully the people that are on the Zoom will be able to hear it. So I want to check on that. Sean, can you hear us okay when we're talking here?
Yeah, much improved. Very good.
Good, thank you. Okay, Pepin.
Okay, well, Mr. Chairman, and Board, Edison Tech is one of the 6 projects that are in phase 3. It started in phase 1 since 2010, went through extensive renovations, alterations, continued in phase 2. A lot was done in the structure itself, especially the post-tension slabs and the site work and the academies of health sciences, IT, etc. So phase 3 is a continuation of what was started in phases 1 and 2. So the program management team and the school district's facilities department worked very arduously with CJS architects and their engineers to validate the Edison Tech strategic plan concepts, to review the existing conditions of the site and incorporate the planned structural remediation work and athletic fields concepts into the project. With us tonight is Mike Ellison from CJS Architect, who will assist us and is working with Brian, Terry, and the team with summarizing the program verification report for Edison Tech. And as we go through the presentation, Mr. Chairman, and RJSCB, you'll see for yourself that all the steps were taken to look at the MCA, different concepts, discussions we've had with the school district facilities department, and in preparation of our conversations with SED. So Kim, if you could pull up the project itself.
Okay, Pepin, this particular portion of the design process is the verification process, right?
Yes, sir.
So we're verifying here that the things that we're going to design and build and things are doable, and that the best estimate that we can give to the cost now is correct.
Correct.
So we're now with this, we're now directed on what we're going to do with respect to it. There are other phases to the design that we'll be back with, right?
Yes, there are other phases. We have a chart there that shows the progression from the program verification to schematic design. And I didn't want to steal Brian's thunder, but that's the chart that you are referring to, Chairman. That's on the screen right now.
Yeah, one thing that there are 2 things about Edison that we need to remember. One of them not so good, one of them I think is going to turn out to be good. The one that's not so good is the fact that the way in which that particular building was built with a post-tension process has deteriorated over the years. That's not unique to Edison. Those kinds of construction exist all over the place. You see them, city has them in garages. And that deterioration of those particular structural members that actually support the structure of the building has required us to do a fair amount of work with respect to repair and replacing them. That gets to the head of the line, obviously, because we have to have a structure that's going to maintain itself, and it inserts itself into the design process and into the work that these guys are going to report on today, because we need to do it, and it comes first, because if we haven't done it, we can't deliver an appropriate project. But we'd like it to cost as little as possible so it doesn't push everything else out of the project. And that's the second thing that I wanted to mention, and they'll mention here, and that's really new, is the recreational, outside recreational area that's being developed for Edison. That's really been needed for a long time. They're the last of the high schools that doesn't really have a good area in that regard. And there are certain reasons for that having to do with the nature of the place, but we're hopeful that we're going to get that done, get it done in this particular round. So the kids Edison can have the same kind of recreational and athletic facilities that the other high schools have now. After we did Monroe, they're all done. So I'm a big pusher on that, and it works. The year after we finished the Monroe project, they won the sectionals. The year before, they didn't have a team, so it does work. Obviously, that's not the most important thing, but it's nice to see that it happen. Okay, folks, go to it.
All right, Chairman Richards, thank you. I am Brian Pinnock from the RSMP. I'm overseeing Edison along with myself. With myself here, we have Mike Ellison from the CJS team. Just to add to what's mentioned by Chairman Richards and Mr. Pepin here, the program verification phase, pretty much in a perfect world, would be the strategic plan. But there's not really a perfect world. So what we did for the last couple of months was to review the strategic plan, as well as interviews. We had interviews with all the various stakeholders from the district, the faculties department, school administrators, the principals, just to get their perspective in terms of their wants and desires for the space, which caused us to having to modify the strategic plan. And from that modification, we come up with this verified program. And Mike would then provide us with this presentation, guiding us through as it relates to this new plan moving forward into the design.
All right, thank you, Brian. If you kept going, you would have done my whole presentation. We're all set with this slide. We just went through the process that we went through to review the strategic plan, make sure it met the requirements of the district and the school. And the next slide show what we end up with.
We'll go back again. I think that's what Chairman Richards wanted us to highlight. There are different stages of submissions to the State Education Department. The first one that's highlighted is what's going to be presented to you tonight, a PV, program verification, which explains what we said earlier. Then we'll move to schematic design, which is where the design is actually locked. We start developing concepts at 25%, which is a legislative requirement. It requires us to submit estimates and the progress design development of construction documents to SED, the State Education Department. After the 25%, we move on to 50% construction drawings, where the documents are further refined with details. Trades are being identified, a constructability review gets started, and scope items are enhanced, and we start developing specification narratives and basis of design. The next step would be 75% construction drawings, where we further develop the construction documents, extend the drawings with more detailing, add more to the specifications, identify the process being used for construction. Then we move on to 90% construction drawings. The 90% is not required to be submitted to SED, but we figured as a team, we will do that as a QA/QC check to make sure alternates are clearly identified and scoped and estimated before we prepare the 100% document that goes to the state, which will lead us to the building permit after approval by the Commissioner of Education. Until we have Commissioner approval of the design, we obviously cannot bid the project. We cannot get contractors on board. We cannot put a shovel in the ground. So this is really the life cycle of the design before we get into construction. Right?
Yeah, and there's a little more tension in this process than might usually be the case with respect to the ultimate cost. we've gone through a period of time with significant inflation during the pandemic, and then particularly in the construction business. We've tried to estimate for that. There have been provisions made in the estimates to the date for that, but we won't really know till we bid it. We won't really know because there are other things that influence it, and we know that in this particular year, in this particular time frame, there are some things that are could drive those numbers in a way that we will be disappointed. And then the tariffs are another item. A significant amount of the building materials are affected by tariffs. And how much of that will flow through the ultimate cost, we're not sure. We're trying to estimate it, but we'll know for sure when we bid. And so the sooner we get there, the better.
And to add to that line on the bottom, there's a cost estimate at each one of these stages, just so that we, as these things happen in the world, we're right up to date at each step of the way. So
should be stated that's also a requirement for the SED submissions. So the legislation requires us to confirm we are within that 95% aidability. So an estimate needs to be produced, compared to the MCA to prove where the program is within that 95% aidability. And that's actually what's critical about this first stage that we're at right now. It's the first chance for SED to calculate our MCAs for this project and set the stage for the aid that we'll be measuring the costs against.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
He's running the, oh, there we go. All right, so we had just started the project, and the project expanded with the approval of the site mini master plan, which involved, as was discussed just a little bit ago, the national high school standard regulation standards for athletic fields for high school. So in this scheme, we're providing an 8-lane 400-meter track with a football field with the associated bleachers, press box, concessions, and then to the north of that, regulation softball and baseball fields. The unique part of this site is that it's a terraced site. There are 3 terraces, if you will. The track is on one. Currently, the softball field, which is here, is on one, and then the baseball field is on another. But with this arrangement, we now need to level one of those terraces to a point. So you can see this kind of, quarter circle hatched area. That's where we need to bring in imported fill to actually level this part of the field with this terrace. There's the original scheme, which is on the next slide. We can compare the two. Had a significantly more fill needing to be brought in because the arrangement was different. The baseball field was on the opposite side. There was some concerns with the height of this drop off. That's currently about 8 feet now, a drop from this terrace down to street level, say. If we add another 7 feet, which is approximately what we need to add here, that makes this, in this scheme, a 15-foot either sloped embankment or retaining wall, 15 feet. It was not desired by the district. So they opted to go with this scheme, which has less fill, less money, and a little bit safer from that perspective of that drop off. The features and the amenities are the same. The track is the same. In fact, the track design is the same in both schemes. And the only thing that really happened is that baseball field mirrored or flipped over. It took with it some of the, the field, track and field amenities with it, and they flip sides. But it does get the baseball field closer to the parking lot, which was a desire. That's mainly
They now meet, the track particularly now meets the standards, right? Which it did not.
National high school standards, yeah.
So if the kid runs a record on the Edison track, gets credit for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the distance, but the existing track, it was 6 lanes and it was a very tight turn. It was not a regulation turn. So this provides a regulation track with a nice football field with the turf amenities as well. Also added to the project, which the chairman talked about, the addition of the structural reconstruction. So if we start in the middle plan, all the way around the perimeter of the first floor, we need to excavate down maybe a foot, 2 feet to expose this reinforcement, these post-tension tendons that come out the slab at the end. The tendons need to be repaired or reconstructed, and then waterproofed where they penetrate the exterior, so that we prolong the integrity of them. And don't get into situations like we're discovering now. Because of the way the building is designed, part of the second floor is affected as well. So the main entrance, which is over here, is actually up at the second floor. You actually enter the school at the second floor. So we have similar remediation required at that second floor. There's also a bridge here that goes from the parking lot to the second floor. You can actually drive underneath. So again, we'll see work on that second floor as well. That's why there's a level 2. Where these little boxes are, that's where the second floor tendons are exposed. And actually, when you drive by, you can see the little round circles up on the second floor. Those are intact. They don't need to be reconstructed, but we're going to provide some sort of waterproofing over those. So again, we prolong the longevity of that system at that second floor. They're exposed. SGH, who was hired by the district to do an assessment of this system, did look behind some paneling for the third floor. They said they were fine. We're not those. They've been protected by, aluminum paneling. So we don't touch those. Then on the far plan, there is some work that's required to be done to actually splice a new piece of tendon. And those will affect some of these rooms. Most of the work is going to be done in the basement. So it's not actually, we're not destroying floors in order to do that. Most of it's underneath. And that's the red section. The blue section, where instead of doing the tendons, we're just adding structural steel as the supplementary structure for that. So SGH did the assessment. They determined what the remedial measures are. We then adopted that part of the project. We will show what the remedial measures are, do the design. We hired SGH for continuity so that it should be a seamless transition from their report on what they found to what's actually on the documents, and then is constructed. So having added those 2 items, the site, the structural remediation, our fixed limit of construction went from 65 million to 88 million. So that those 2 elements, there were funds infused into the project through our strategic plan review and assessment based on user group meetings with the district, etc. We did an estimate and we come up with 108 million. We have a $19 million difference. Some of the contributing causes to that, one significant one is, and it wasn't anticipated when the strategic plan was developed, is the demountable partitions that were planned to be replaced are integral with the ceiling. The ceiling was planned to be replaced. You take the ceiling away and these walls have nothing to support or brace themselves. You can do it the other way. You can take the walls out, the ceiling's fine, but the other way it doesn't work. So we went through the plan, identified where all of these walls were, and these are 1970s era. It's a 1970s era design and product. So it was decided that this needs to be changed. I think when they did in prior phases, they took some out, but now we're impacting a lot of the building. So it's time to remove the rest of it. And that came from, the district utilities.
Well, the essence there is we can't fix it, right?
Can't fix it, and I think the
Nothing
idea,
available to fix it with.
and I think SCD, they want to go in once,
Yeah, right.
wash their hands, they're done, they never go back, they want to spend money on top of money on top of money, so.
Yeah, the idea though is they don't go through the ceiling to the deck. They don't have ratings. They can't run new electric or things through them. There's a lot of reasons why they need to be removed and replaced with standard construction.
They're not acoustic, they're not code compliant, sometimes it occurs on a corridor wall, which needs to be a 20-minute.
What was the, just out of curiosity, what was the advantage and why did they do it?
Speed.
Flexibility.
Flexibility.
You could actually relocate them.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was the open plan concept at the time.
I don't know if you remember the old Maynards when they were on the point. They had a ceiling and it was just a track for, they could plug in lights anywhere, so they could move their displays around, and they've always got. Same here, you can move the wall 5 feet over and make a bigger room and without doing anything else. It was because it was a modular system.
Right, it was modular and they weren't caring about the fire separation, fireproofing and all of that. So it was not a concern there. Now it is, the code is different.
And the acoustics are.
The acoustics are terrible.
There are stories where
acoustics must be bad.
one class is celebrating a birthday and everyone's cheering, and then the classroom next to it starts cheering too, because they feel like they're almost part of that.
This building at the time of its construction was granted a number of variances from the SED code per se. And now they're coming home to haunt in terms of durability, acoustics, smoke separation, fire separation. And this project at this time will correct those ills.
So none of these walls are structural that are gonna be eliminated.
Structural.
No.
And so that, I guess you said you're gonna modify the ceiling. I heard that, right?
Right, we're taking this, the goal was to take the ceiling down and replace it with a conventional 2x2. We're doing mechanical upgrades, which then integrate with this type of ceiling seamlessly.
The walls that will replace it will be conventional construction. It'll go from floor all the way up to the deck.
To the deck.
And then the ceilings that will be reinstalled will be similar to these, where it will go from wall to wall that was constructed. So now, instead of the ceiling supporting the walls as it exists now, the walls are going to support the ceilings.
So they're gonna be structural, the new ones.
They'll be structural in that they'll be able to support themselves and the ceilings, but they're not structural in the fact that they won't be supporting the building.
I understand.
This is just a graphic representation of these two numbers. The pie chart shows how and where the money is being spent. It's almost split, almost 50-50, general construction, and then all the other trades, including the site, is the other 50%.
In the top right corner, the green
That's our
cost
first
allowances.
first calculation of MCA, which is far exceeds the budget that we have to work with, which is fully expected. And but we will keep doing that as we develop the plans and fine tune the plan, room sizes, et cetera. So that will fluctuate based on development.
I think it should also be pointed out or reminded to the board that because of the very, very close scrutiny by the state and all of the entities involved in their approval, we elected to have both the design team and the construction manager be responsible for detailed cost estimates. They do their estimates. We reconcile the two estimates so that everybody sees the project the same way. It narrows the gap for surprises. And in that regard, we're paying a bit more of a premium up front in terms of design and cost control. But we want to be able to assure that each of these projects can be bid, award, and constructed on schedule.
Kim's driving.
First floor plan for this is our reconciled strategic plan. This is what we came up with after speaking with all of the user groups, the district. and assessing their needs, et cetera. This first floor is mostly CTE. These are the CTE shops, spaces. So if we start in the middle, they've introduced a new CTE HVAC program. So we've accommodated that in this renovated area. We've incorporated a shared classroom, which gets their classroom, the desk work out of the shop, opening up the shop to more hands-on CTE related exercises. So it's the HVAC program is very similar to welding, which is an existing program. They share the same equipment. So we paired those two together. This idea of having a classroom outside of the actual shop was demonstrated and successfully in phase 2. I'm not sure what phase this was when this machine shop was done. So we're trying to emulate that, not only here, but even at the electrical, CTE electrical. You can see this is white. There's not any renovation in the electric shop, but they do through some of the demountable wall replacements and some moves, architectural moves. We were able to get them a classroom right adjacent to their shop. So they get to the benefit of having that, the desk work outside of that physical shop. And they have some ideas on what they want to do in here and building, partial homes so that the kids can wire it more authentically. And that's the idea of getting these classrooms out of shop spaces.
Can I touch on the
Yep. Go ahead.
intensity of so there's there's a legend here that shows a different level of renovation for each space. The area that shows the dark colors have a greater level of renovation, so they're more expensive in terms of the volume of work that has to be done. The area that shows the paler section have less renovation to be done. So you can get an idea in terms of where the concentration of the money will be spent or the work will be done.
So there's a couple areas, these two rooms, which are just classrooms, and these two rooms here, these are added spaces needing renovation because of these demountable walls. They're on the corridor, so now we will put back a related wall. And these spaces inherently end up getting renovated because of that. This area up here is the NISA program. It's one of the, they're on each floor, but this area, again, didn't have a lot of work needed, but through these demountable partitions, we end up renovating all that space. In addition to these NISA spaces, and actually it starts this next calendar year, which starts in a month, they're actually adding or needing to add 2 more classrooms to their program. So as part of this exercise, we were able to, through some efficiencies of combining spaces, right sizing, for example, ESL rooms that only need 12 students, not 29 or 25. We were able to right size these rooms and pick up in this block one of the NISA rooms that they need. And then through combining an AP suite, 2 less efficient AP suites into one efficient AP suites where they can share a conference room, a workroom, an admin, but have all their, associated social workers, guidance counselor, all those amenities or those offices for them, but in one more organized suite. We pick up at the second room for NISA. So that's why these become, a heavier renovation than they would typically. And we can later on in.
I was just going to clarify where the board NISA are the extremely high needs special ed students. And the district has chosen this as a kind of an anchor facility for those type of students.
Thank you. Let's see, then the lighter color that Brian mentioned, they're more a refresh of space. So new ceiling, new floors, new paint. So it's more of a refresh. No real changes in construction. And then the athletic wing on the left. Yeah. Pool, humidification system,
It's the same space.
improved or replaced amenities like diving boards, starting blocks, ladders in to the pools. That will be taken care of in the pool. Although it's adjacent to this other NISA space, they're not connected by any means. But that's another NISA program that is in dire need of some renovation. They have classroom storage and a workshop there. That and some toilet rooms that are probably original to the building, so they need to be brought up to accessible level. And then the greenhouse, this is the actual greenhouse, some glazing replacement, so there's not a lot of work in there, but and then again, locker rooms aren't being touched, but this integral ceiling system actually occurs out here as well, so we'll replace that with new ceiling. And then the gymnasium, although it was not originally called out on the strategic plan, there is a need for the replacement of the they call them room dividers.
Folding partitions.
Thank you. And new bleachers, and they're starting to damage the floor, so this is the time to take care of that, so we can repair the floor without having to replace the floor. So that's first floor. With 2 more to go.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Okay. I can talk about this all day. Okay.
I would just hit the highlights.
So
Highlights.
many moves.
Yes.
Okay. Big goal for this project is the culinary program, which is currently in this block. And we've gone back and forth with the district on where it should be located. There's more information on that. This is where the district prefers it be. They do like the idea of this corridor coming through. The existing corridor. Within this block is also the expansion of the music department. There are 5 rooms were planned through our discussions through user groups. They need 3. That's great, because one thing that wasn't accommodated and or foreseen at the strategic plan time 3 years ago was there's a lot of NISA spaces in here that weren't identified. So by saving those 2 rooms that weren't needed, we were able to reincorporate those NISA spaces. So that works well there. A lot of this is demountable partition work again. We do all the walls. This is NISA again. Their office suite. Again, demountable partitions is the rest of it. New main office, demountable partitions, although we were planning to do some work there. And then the health suite, which has been renovated so many times, it's so disjointed. They're OCs and RRH. We've in this space, we've made it more of a linear progression. So a student comes in, and as they're assessed, they're triaged. They just keep going deeper and deeper into the suite instead of moving all over the place to get to the services they need. So we've improved that layout too. This is purely a ceiling replacement in the music room. 3rd floor is quick because this is mostly demountable partitions. And you'll see the comparison to the strategic plan where we were barely doing anything up here, and now we're doing significant work.
I do have one quick question if I can ask.
Sure.
So looking at the 2nd floor, you can go back to that slide. I'm looking at where the culinary cafe is, and it's kind of bunched up near social studies classrooms, culinary kitchen, and then on the other side, which is closest to the staff lounge and the cafeteria commons, we have another batch of social studies classrooms over there. Was there any consideration to kind of bunching up the food services area to the larger food service area that's to the left?
Trying to find the social study. Oh, there they are up here.
Up there.
The blue flags. What's that? Actually, yeah, why don't we go? Because that's actually our next slide. We enlarge these
Okay,
spaces,
okay.
so that's actually a good point, Brian.
Question, yeah.
Yeah, so, Tim, you can,
Tim,
Go ahead.
why don't you just go right through it?
yeah, I think we can skip this.
Right through it.
This is the two schemes. So here's the two, this is the strategic plan version. And then this is the one that they ultimately, the district ultimately prefers. And here's your social studies. I think they were over here and then some down here. Is that, so to answer you, right now, there is a kind of a semi-service corridor that runs between the culinary program and the actual building, what's it called, building kitchen, the school kitchen.
Cafeteria.
Yeah, so.
Food
they have a-
services.
Yeah, so they have a corridor between them. It's off of the beaten path because the student are gonna be here and here. So it's very similar to a commercial kitchen application where you would have this back hallway. We can't move this against it because we need exiting from
Understood.
from both spaces. So we need that corridor for exiting.
Yes, okay.
I don't know if that answers your question. Does it?
It partially does.
One of the other criteria of NISA is that they want their students off of the main hallways because the noise and the activity and the stimulation affects them physically and emotionally. So we've kept the NISA back here on this back hallway. Kind of it's kind of off the main hall, so the kids can come in here, they can communicate. Teachers can communicate between NISA rooms in case there's an issue in one. They can move around without really, hang out and come back in. So we did that on all the floors. We tried to keep all their NISA rooms together and off to the side, away from the main thoroughfares. So this is the preferred version. This is what was in the strategic plan. So
By preferred, Mike, means we reviewed this with your facilities department and they want us to stick with the existing configuration.
Yeah, my question was just new kid on the block question.
Right, gotcha.
So, the principle too here that we're trying to live by is that our job here is constructability and cost, and then doing it. It's not to decide how the particular layout fits with the educational program, and there's flexibility there. That's why all these meetings occur with all of these various levels of people, because, there's personal choice here associated with how things are laid out. But what we're committed to is whether we can do it for the money we have and whether it meets the code, and the other things that can be constructed. And then we've tried to change that this time through with this particular phase so that the district is much more involved in the front end of it. And they have been, by the way. They have been.
So both schemes offer the same exact program spaces and functions. They're just a little different shape, but all the services, all the amenities are the same. Both still. Again, some more enlarged, you can see that, again, maybe we go to the next slide.
Next slide, yeah.
That's preferred. This one, you can see how see the workstations and there's some detail on which space is utilized. We talked to the director, the program director, how many seats do you want in the cafe? So it's all, and we have a culinary consultant that's working with us as well. So this is not, they're working in the district on other schools as well. So they're well known by the district. And
Does this vent to the roof? Where's it vent to?
we're on the second floor. I think there's I don't know.
Just
Yes.
It's the same location, so it must,
adjacent.
there's a case over here.
There's got to be a significant amount of venting going on with it.
Right.
Okay.
Now, just comparison, this will be quick, you can just check the colors. You can see how much more orange here than over here. We're having to renovate a lot more because of the demountable walls and incorporating the nicest spaces. Here again, you can see how much smaller this bank is than this one, so it's less expensive to do that one because we're not renovating the hallway at that same level. Again, you can see, see, this is the one I mentioned. You can really see the difference. It's just because of those walls. So this is a slide of this is what we did. This is what we found out, and this is the next steps. So we did all, well, we've talked about, BCS, meeting with all the groups, and getting all the information, all the data we need. And then this is what we found out, that the strategic plan, there was 1,000 student body. In reality, it's going to be 1,400. We added the sports, we added the structure, we added a CTE HVAC program. We found out that the NISA program had expanded actually twofold since the strategic plan was put together. We did manage to get 2 of the new aidable NISA rooms I mentioned earlier. We were able to salvage, if you will, 2 of these rooms that were in the strategic plan and bring back in NISA programs that we're not aware of at the time of the strategic plan. And then we've done all the other required support. And of course, our next step is to take that, everything we learn, develop it in the schematic design, develop all the other infrastructure, cost estimate. It does require some infusion of new monies to do all of what we're saying, and hope that we can go through and make this happen for the school.
That comment is related to the additional funds that the state legislature and Senate have approved, waiting for governor's signature.
Yeah, let's back up a minute on the money part of it. And make sure we're looking at this right thing here. Because we transferred money from East into this project.
Yes.
When we knew we had to fund this structural work, right?
That's correct.
Is that in this budget that I'm looking at here, or is it? It is? Okay,
That's in there.
It's already happened.
The only money that's not in there yet is the distribution of the funds from the 125 million of that additional.
So that overage of $19 million either gets absorbed or partially absorbed with respect to the extra money, or we got to find it someplace.
Yes, the 19 million, if the governor signs the approved bill, that evaporates.
Yeah, right.
If it doesn't happen, then
We
reduce the scope.
We
Right.
took, in order, since we knew we had to do, and we voted on this before, the board will remember, since we knew we had to do this structural work here, we couldn't find it at Edison. We had to find it someplace else. We found it at East, where we'd already done a lot of work. But we're hopeful that this additional money from the governor, if the governor signs it, will allow us to rectify that circumstance.
So can
And
I just
also-
ask a question? So we shifted 19 million from East to this project. So what would happen if we hadn't gotten the additional money from the governor?
So the money that was shifted was more from East to Edison to take care of the structural work would still happen. So what Mike went through, he showed where you had more heavy construction after the program verification stage than that was original plan in the strategic plan. So you would still do the structural work if the new money is not in, but you would reduce scope in other areas.
Okay,
Remember I was talking
Yeah.
before, that's what happens. It pushes other things out of the project, the structural work does. And that's where I was going with this little red bar here.
okay.
If we don't get the extra, if we didn't get the extra money, then we're gonna have to find that money someplace else. And that means we're gonna have to redo some of the work here. But hopefully that won't be necessary.
Pending the schematics, culinary design, the fence as to whether it can be afforded. So we'll be doing a detailed
Gotcha.
estimate with the more detailed design. But at this moment, culinary needs those additional.
Gotcha. Thank
Okay.
you.
The next slide was about,
It was more schedule, I think, that
Yeah,
last
schedule.
slide. This is where we are today. Our next submission would be to send a preliminary plan submission to SED, which we're on target to do that. And then we back and see you guys in November with the SD. And then this is our budgets and estimate.
That's the presentation.
That's the last one.
Okay, comments or other comments or questions? If might not have been covered, very good.
Thank you. It was very informative.
We're going to be asked to approve this so it can be submitted to SED. Is that correct? This stage?
SCD is not looking for it. We do it as a courtesy, but as a common practice, we ask for your approval to move to the next stage.
So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the submission for this stage.
So moved.
And move in second. Other questions or comments? Seeing or hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Thanks. Very interesting. This is, you can tell from this presentation, Edison Tech is a real project. I mean, it isn't just big. It's a big place to begin with. It's spread out as a structure. It has these structural problems. And of course, the sports areas have their own problems with respect to the landfill that was in that area before. And so this has been one heck of a project and will be before we finish. It's also a classic example of the fact that you can't, when you do this kind of renovation, you cannot anticipate everything that's going to happen. This is worse here because of the factors that are involved, but we're going to find this stuff, and we did, and everywhere. Okay, that gets us to the report of, I guess the ICO goes next, I think, don't we?
Sure.
Go ahead, Brian.
Good afternoon. So our information for as through July 30th of this year, which were the June submissions for all the work on the project, we received 100% of the records that were requested and required to be filed for us by the June 30th date. The program currently is at 99.4%. Of all the required data. What does that mean? We have 2 files we're still working with contractors to get out of a total of 359 on the documentation side. The analysis of the workforce to date up through June. So my total hours worked on the project, 36,692 hours have been worked. The breakdown of those are, when we look at it for the month of June, we had 1,000 hour minority hours worked, non-minority women hours, 768, non-minority male hours, 2,000 hours, for a total of 3,775 hours on the project, bringing us to just under 37,000 hours, work hours so far. Comparison on our goals overall, hours worked, looking at it both traditionally, first, minority, both male and female, we have a goal of 23%. Through the month of June, we had 41.91, so just under 42% of the overall hours. When we look at it for women, non-minority only, a goal of 7%, and we're at 11.88. The comparison, those goals, overall hours worked with female participation analysis breaking down separately, minority only, male only, with a goal of 23%, we're at 28.19. Women, non-minority and minority, if you break that out with a goal of 7, we're at 23.96%. Our business utilization, so when we look at the contracts that have ultimately been awarded, and if you'll notice that the June numbers are the same as the May numbers, it's because we've awarded 4 contracts since then that are not included here, but I'll go through their percentages as to where we are. So far, we have awarded $68,300,000 of contracts. When we look at that, when we break it out, our MBE, we have a goal at 18%. We're currently at 33.5. Our WBE, we have a goal at 12%. We're up to 7.57. Our SBE requirement of 2%, we're at 2.11. Our DBE, we have a goal of 2%, and we're at 3.58. When I had mentioned that we have 4 contracts that are not included, so when we look at East High School, SEI's contract, they have 34.93% compliance, exceeding their goals. DCI is at currently with their numbers are at 30.81. When we ultimately look at on Frederick Douglass, where we are with SWBR rather, their current compliance numbers are 33.28. And LaChase is at 38.16. So those documents have just come in. They'll be in our next month's report. But I wanted to highlight the level of participation that those 4 new contractors have on the site with us. Also, although there's not a requirement to track the City of Rochester residents working on the project, currently there were 15 city residents that were active working on the modernization project during the month, which reflects 16.67% of the total of 90 individuals that are working on the project during the month of June.
Were you able to find out if any of them were graduates of the BOT program?
Didn't, but we do have, Kimberly, let's think about that. We have the list of BOP graduates and we have the payroll, so we can do that because we would have those 2 data sets.
Okay.
So Jeff, let's work with Kimberly. We'll get that list of the BOP grads and then we can add that through because we definitely have those. Absolutely. Yep. To do the comparison of those 2 data sets. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
any questions for Brian? Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Slowly but surely, we're building up here to the point where these numbers are going to start being meaningful.
Once construction starts, the dollars and the work, the biggest, the hours work start.
Yeah, it will be big.
Moving exponentially.
Hey, Mitchell, fund balance report.
Thank you, Chairman Richards. What we have up on the screen now is our budget tracking for the fiscal year 24-25 for the RJSCB. As a reminder, this tracks the vendors that are paid directly through the RJSCB, as we'll see on the subsequent chart. For the months of July and August, we did not go over this in June because the budget was just approved in July. So Anshin was $11,427.50. BSK, $5,337.50 in July. August, $21,016 for Anshin, $3,507.50 for BSK. We are tracking these pretty carefully. I'm sorry, got seven. $530,352.22 in July and $306,910.38. These are early budgets, as you'll see at the bottom of the page, that we're tracking fairly well for the 2 months we've been tracking. But as construction begins and we go through the fiscal year, these will become more meaningful. For the fund balance report, this is the final numbers from the loan from the RCSD. That last disbursement was July 14th for $2,700,000. That brought the account balance to $2,244,526.27. When the current pay requisition was subtracted, that left $1,340,768.44. These numbers will be confirmed with the city because this is the last disbursement or the payment that will be made back to the district before we begin functioning from the band dollars. So the total approved advance for next month will show that total versus this $14,635,000. As we move down to the charts, the RJSCB held dollars, those have not changed. We have not expended any dollars from that. That's $330,648, representing dollars from the Attorney General. The RJSCB only expenses are the Lawley audit, the Lawley insurance and the annual audit of $17,986. That has not changed. The RSMP admin expenses are the numbers that we just saw on the budget tracking for Savin, BSK, and Anshin for $6,680,102, representing 16% of the budget. And the RSMP construction costs, which are strictly soft costs right now, are $6,995,568 against a budget of $439,342,158. Any questions?
Okay, comments or questions? I guess not. Pepin, Program Manager Report.
Thank you, Chairman. There was one item. There was an amendment authorized by Chairman Richards for Watts. That was contract amendment number 2. And that is for the assessment of the existing storm and sanitary lines, video inspection of the existing roof drains, downspout, and investigation of precast walls. This was done to limit the potential for major change orders later during construction. So that was amendment number 2. Now, for the cost reports, as far as the overall program budget versus the cost summary, there are no hard costs expended to date, as Kim Mitchell mentioned earlier. As of last month, 10.82% of the total incidental budget was spent, or $13,693,656 paid to date. With the current progress, the overall phase 3 program is 2.88% complete. So any questions on the budget report?
Yeah, what we're trying to do there with throwing all these numbers around is that trying to eventually get to the point where we can keep track of the fact of the ancillary costs, design, administration, those kinds of costs, and construction management don't eat up too much of the construction budget. And so we're trying to keep it, it's a little hard to do at this stage because we don't have the construction budget in place, but it's something we need to get ourselves prepared to keep close track of. So that and if you just watched the presentation here with respect to all the work that goes in for the planning of these jobs, you can see how that could happen if you really didn't pay attention to it, because you wind up eating the major portion of the construction budget just getting ready to go. So we've got to keep some pressure on that and keep some attention to it. If it isn't done right, it'll waste our money too, but there is an issue there.
Okay. So as far as the overall financial, I think Mrs. Jones already gave an update on where we are with the ban. The Senate bill and to extend phase 3 to 2033 is still waiting for the governor's approval. That was mentioned earlier. The financial plan is being revised to allocate the $125 million additional fund across all 6 projects. Actually, 5 projects. School number 9 will not get any allocations since it's already under the aidability requirement. So we are working with the financial advisors, bond underwriter, to revise this plan so we can submit it to the state controller and SED. We talked about the 30 million already. The schedules for long-term debt, again, all remain predicated on when SED approves the first group of projects. So the plan, as stated earlier, is to submit the preliminary submissions to SED as soon as we can. After this meeting, Terry and I and the team put together a nice package that requires signatures of this FPFMP form. We reviewed with the board last month. So we'll, if you can help us get this process going, that would be great. it requires signatures by the state monitor, Superintendent Dr. Rosser, of course, the chairman, and also the business official. In this case, Mr. Jacob Scott will fill in for the business official since there's no regular business official in the district.
There will be one starting September 1st.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Thank you. So we will get some of the forms signed today. We'll submit what we can. The attestation form was nicely prepared with the backup documentation that are required for submission. There is a meeting scheduled with SED for September 11th. They asked for a list of attendees, which was shared with them. So I believe Mr. Chair will be in this room, us who are local, and then SED will be virtual. They want this meeting to be virtual. So
We tried to get it in person, but they're not interested for some reason.
some reasons. So we'll have that meeting and hopefully we'll get moving again with the approval so the drawings can be developed further. For Dr. Martin Luther King School number 9, again, the drawings are on a soft pause until we have this meeting with the state. There is some work being done. We're going as far as we can, but we cannot go too far because the legislation requires us to pause until SED allows us to go to the next stage. Wilson, again, is on a soft hold, similar to number 9, and we are tracking the budget and estimates as closely as possible. We are still working with the district on swing space coordination. There are some meetings that need to be scheduled with the district to confirm the test fits and are what we want them to be.
So Douglas has been scheduled, I believe, and it's for next Tuesday at noon. I believe her intent was to include Edison because of who she invited to the meeting, but I need to confirm that so that I can then include Brian and Mike Ellison into that meeting also.
Okay.
That special ed, confirming room counts and uses, and so that they could finalize, you know, that program size within each of the buildings.
So Padilla High School at Franklin, schematic designs been reconciled with the program verification. So we are where we are. We're waiting for the ISR forms, the instructional space review forms, to be signed by the regional associate. And we've been working with Dr. Terry Arden. No, I'm sorry. We've been working with Dr. Swan, Kristen Swan.
For the ISRs,
For the
correct.
ISRs, to get those forms back to us because SCD wants everything signed before submission. We still need to talk about the swing space for Edison, because right now the test fit shows that the full population cannot fit at Marshall. Is that still the case?
That's for Padilla.
Padilla. That's where we are.
Yeah, Edison, we need to do some homework on how much space we could create within the building with the student population to finalize a work plan around the building.
Okay. So Easton Douglas architects and construction managers have been selected, and the award letters were sent. Contracts are pretty much drafted and waiting for final signatures. Rick, any update with the contracts, agreements for Douglas and East? Okay.
They're in process.
In process. Okay. Next milestones, we asked Dr. McKibben to prepare the demographic enrollment update. The study update was done district-wide, but not by school, correct?
Right.
So we're just waiting for Dr. Swan to review the materials and send them over to the state. We'd rather send them with the preliminary submissions instead of waiting for 2026. So the state can react to the document and the update that were prepared. It's pretty much where we are.
Well, on that last point, we're hoping this state will recognize and accept this 2026 certainly would be not duplicative, but maybe further into the design and construction. Might have to do another update, but they want it now to confirm the preliminary submissions.
And that would be Dr. Orden is,
Yeah, Dr. Arden
is
was
the one looking and working on that projection.
where we are.
So you're trying, that, the last conversation we just had here relates to the updated demographic study that we've prepared or been prepared. And now the district is in charge of, making sure they agree with it.
Yes,
And they're going to submit.
submit it to the state.
Yeah.
Right.
It's important that particular report that the district is comfortable with, because it can come up in other situations. It's a demographic study of the population of the district. There's all kinds of places where that issue, is impactful. And one of the reasons we're taking a little time here, I don't want us to drive that thing in a particular direction that fixes our problem and creates one for somebody else.
Appreciate that.
It's not, we can work around it kind of fairly easily, but at least with some degree of ease, but I don't want to get in the middle of something else that's going on here that's important, because it shows, it's a very detailed report, and it shows the demographic projections for all over the district, all of the buildings, all of the schools, all of the districts. So it's really, a critical document.
And who has access to that document at this point in time? That's the school district?
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Wasser, we sent that over to Kristen Swan and Dr. Arden. Dr. Arden is reviewing the documents
And she's been very involved in it. We wound up doing it because it's simpler for us because of our process here to order the update of the report, because we had ordered it as part of the original plan before. It was really the district that was asked for. We did it because we could get it done quickly, which is what we did do. And it is relevant to what we're doing here, but not necessarily determinative.
Thank you.
So the other thing we should mention that SED is looking for, not necessarily now, but it benefits us to do it sooner rather than later, is from that meeting on May 6th, they noted that they're looking for the 10-year building closure plan from the district. By the way they review, even though they stated in the notes they're looking for it in 2026, that's also the same date that they had stated they wanted the enrollment projections. That was all based on an original schedule of when the anticipated projects going in for approval. The way they've viewed and evaluated MLK, it's obvious that they're really looking at overall seats and availability in comparing that against the numbers that we're planning on putting into the buildings. So I believe that even if we give them the projections to convince them of what we need within each building for enrollment, they're going to want to see that 10-year plan. So it's something that we wanted to get on the district's radar so that you could start thinking about it and putting it together earlier than that 2026 date.
To a large extent, the decisions for the schools that we're renovating were made because of the need, the population need, and also that the particular physical facilities that we chose would not be the ones to get closed. We would, and that School 9 is a good example of that, given where it's located. In fact, there's a rec center, a large Hispanic population, all kinds of reasons why, yes, maybe some schools will get closed, but we're not going to be closing that one. Now, SCE doesn't think in those terms. They think more in, in a different set of terms. And that's where this kind of conflict can bump into each other. But hopefully we'll get this straightened out, because it doesn't need my own feeling about this is we're being asked to provide information that is not possible to predict accurately for this kind of work. The 10-year prediction of the population of the district by school You know, I don't see how you can do that. And you have to make some kind of statement about the approach that you're taking. But we're being asked here to come up with some numbers that I just don't think are going to be accurate, simply because they can't be.
Right. Okay, other questions, Pepin?
Well, we have the documents that Terry would like signatures on, if you feel comfortable.
Looking for suggestions on how to present it. So we have the FMP form that was referred to earlier. What we did is we printed out the entire preliminary submission of what SED is going to see electronically. Along with a sheet that we prepared to compare the estimate against the budget and against our calculation of the MCA to be able to come up with a percentage of aidability to compare it to the legislation. Thinking that's what you guys are going to want to see before you sign the attestation form. So we can walk through walk through the package with you. And if you have any questions, we can answer them. If you're looking for additional information, we'll put it together, but we need to start someplace.
Terry, just give me a second.
Yeah, I think, Terry, before we go down that route here, we'll adjourn the meeting. Okay, I think the regular agenda is complete. Unless there are other items to come before the group.
We're set, right?
Seeing or hearing none, we'll stand adjourned. So let's back up a minute here. The SED has come up with a new requirement. This requirement is that a list of people attest at each of these stages that we've described here, that to the best of their